More so than not, we are living in a world in which the human product is recycled on an ongoing basis. We know that abortion material is used in a lot of products in which we consume. One of them is Pepsi Cola. It has been long rumored that the bodies of children who have been murdered by certain people who practice a religion that calls for them to drink the blood of children. These people are supposedly disposing of the bodies of these children in meat markets that are used to supply fast food with their meat. I can't really say that it's a rumor because in some of these facilities with investigation, they have found human DNA, human byproduct, human meat has been found or has been reportedly found in these facilities that also are used to, again, process meat for fast food. So some of the food that you're eating regularly is likely human product. So between biological material from abortions and bodies being disposed of and recycled back into the food chain of humans. This is something that they do with chickens and cows. They feed them, dead chickens and cows, and it's the same thing with dog food. They've been known to, put these things into these melanges of dead cats and dead dogs that are retrieved from like the Humane Society and other pet shelters. When animals are put down, these shelters will sell the cadavers to pet food companies, and they take those bodies and put them somehow incorporated into the food. So, again, biological resourcing and recycling is largely what goes on here. Not just that, but think about your water. Your drinking water is recycled sewage. Think about energetic cannibalism when you have these relationships. Let's say you go to stay with a relative, you fall upon hard times, and that relative, feeling egotistical and predatory, decides that despite what you have contributed, what you had offered going into that situation, that they will then prey on you. It becomes a form of a cannibalism by nature. Whenever you present as weak or have a weakness or a codependency, you then become a victim psychologically, energetically, to people who presume you to be as prey. So, this is something this is the norm. And what I wanted to do with this video was put it out there in a way to which people can actually see this. I mean, pet food, having, other dead animals, including animals of the pets that are actually going to be consuming the food. We have, human meat mixed in with our meat. There's a couple of interesting videos on YouTube about people who bought really bad meat from Walmart, and then it was said that Walmart has an underground human meat market. I mean, people have brought meat or found human tattoos that would only be on a human being, on meat that they brought from Walmart. So, this is a space of cannibalism. It's disturbing, but when you think about it, this is what it is. This is where we are. So, it's food for thought, something to think about. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Okay, so what you are looking at is a soup with a human baby in it. This is extremely disturbing, but this is what's going on in China. So again, cannibalism. I mean, this is unreal. People are actually buying this. So it says, this time a couple who already has 2 daughters decided to abort the child after receiving confirmation that it was another girl. The baby was already 5 months old. Those babies who are close to be born and die naturally cost 2,000 in China currency. Those aborted ones cost a few hundred in China currency. Those couples did not want to sell dead babies' placenta. Can be accepted also for a couple of hundred. This is, when I first saw this a while ago, I thought this was like spam. I mean, not spam, but I thought it was like a hoax, with this is just, I mean, this is just, this is just ridiculous, but it is what it is. In China, there are people who eat aborted fetuses in a soup. It's some sort of ritual that they believe will bring them good luck, good fortune. These are people who are consuming babies, like actual human babies. When we look at Soylent Green, the movie Soylent Green, the premise was that there were so many people on the planet that they had to come up with a way to make humans resourceful. So they offered a humane way of ending your life, and then your bodies would then be used to feed the masses. So cannibalism is a very normalized thing. There are also people in this country and elsewhere who actually eat human flesh in secret. There is definitely underground cultures within this culture, within this country, and again everywhere elsewhere, that in secret consume human flesh. So, I think human cannibalism is a lot more prevalent than what we think, especially when we are consuming byproducts, the byproduct of aborted fetal tissue. When we don't really know where the meat is sourced from, when we're eating out in fast food. It's not just fast food, it's restaurants, it's Chinese restaurants. The Chinese are rumored to have to actually use human meat. I know they were busted sending human meat to Africa and claiming that it was something else, that it was animal meat when it was actually human meat. So this is a very real thing, and it's something to be conscious of. Again, you know, understanding and learning something like this definitely will change your perspective on reality, and it'll make you question whether or not you've actually, you know, been victim of this process, because you would be a victim. This is completely twisted, and I'm just reading this here. There's no laws against cannibalism per se, but most, if not all, states have enacted laws that indirectly make it impossible to legally obtain and consume body matter. Well, you know what? That's cute and all, but you know, the guy in Chicago that got busted, freezer full of body parts. He must have been selling. He had to have been selling. Because the thing about it was, this guy was supposed to have been, he had possession of these bodies when they were supposed to have been buried. So the families were under the impression that the bodies were in the ground, but they weren't. They were being cut up and sold. I believe he was selling these body parts. So, I mean, it's bizarre. It's crazy, but it's real and it's happening. There's got to be a market for it. If this guy got busted, and I know that there are other cases earlier on, like I mentioned in a previous video, of where there were busts of, people were busted, you know, in these small towns and places all over the country, you know, with human body parts. There's obviously a market for it. So, yeah, this should open your eyes, if anything.